It is the 5th of November 1937 and we are in Berlin watching Adolf Hitler's meeting with the chiefs of the armed forces of Germany and the foreign minister von Neurath. The meeting's been called because the German Navy is declaring that they don't have enough steel with which to build their new fleet. The Army and the Air Force are reluctant to share any of their steel. However, it becomes a discussion about autarky. The German dictator says that they need to be self-sufficient, and if they can't be self-sufficient within their own borders, they need to find land territory elsewhere. A lot of people say, well, why don't you copy the other European powers and colonise areas of Africa or, Central and Southeast Asia? Hitler, however, says, well, why bother? We can just take it from Europe. And this will, of course, set them on the road to war when they take Czechoslovakia and then Poland, which has a British and French declaration of war attached to it. However, as the meeting goes on, Hitler makes it clear that his vision for the future is a European empire. He discusses a thing called living space, or Lebensraum. And this entire meeting, though top secret, is recorded. Count Friedrich Hossbach writes the minutes, and this is why we have the Hossbach memorandum. It is seen as the initial comment on what Hitler has planned for Europe. And this is 1937. This is still 2 years before the general war will break out, though of course China and Japan are already at war. Some people claim that the Hossbach memorandum never even happened. This meeting is made up, and it is an easy way to blame the Germans for the start of the war. However, I blame the Germans for the start of the war because they started it. But I will leave it up to you to decide for yourselves whether the Hossbach memorandum is real. Whatever the truth of the Hossbach memorandum, it is this event which seems to mark a major change in the way that the German dictator runs his country. Firstly, von Neurath, his foreign minister, will be dismissed and replaced by Joachim von Ribbentrop, who is much closer aligned to Hitler's personal beliefs. And secondly, the armed forces will lose a lot of personal control. They will be replaced by something called the Oberkommando de Wehrmacht, the OKW, which is the combined and controlling power of the German armed forces, and it is directly answerable to Adolf Hitler. By gaining control of not only the foreign ministry but also the armed forces, the dictator has very few rivals left in Germany.